As a young child, being on the farm, I remember how a thunderstorm made me feel, how a sunny day made me feel. Really helped prepare the soil for those artistic ideas. It took me some time to be willing and able to let go of some of that control. I'm not the only one to deal with anxiety, but in the moment it felt hard and really scary. That's when I came much closer to Christ and came to understand Him much more as a healer, as someone who would walk with me in an imperfect journey. With this piece, I did it for a demo, and it wasn't until after I got done with the demo that I realized it looked like a giant turkey. It's like this big, uncooked turkey. Sometimes it's kind of fun to just explore the technical aspects of a piece of composition and color and light and just treat it like a study and say, well, this may not be a big gallery piece, but what can I learn? And since it's not precious and maybe I don't love it as is, how can I solve the problem in a new way? So I digitally painted over the top and tried a whole bunch of different versions. Well, what if I raised it up? What if I put a lake in it? I kind of came to the conclusion that there's nowhere for you to step into the painting. It's like you're on another rock ledge looking at it, and that feels semi-unapproachable, even though it's lovely, besides the fact that it looks like a giant turkey. So I think this little path in would be kind of fun. I grew up on a farm, so I have a lot of vivid early memories of being inspired and affected by the nature around me. The weather and the patterns, the way the light would change throughout the day. I came to really see beauty in those everyday things. I find a sense of divine connection in the beauty that surrounds us, in the chaos of it sometimes. I can't really remember not doing art. There was something in me that really wanted it, and I didn't fully understand why. I could see the difference between my work and the work of other kids that were grades older than me. I thought I had to get it right from the beginning. I was working super hard to close that gap. I get excited every time I get to use the crimper. Oil paint was what was really imposed on me because I hated it, which is funny because that's all I do now. It was messy and uncontrollable, and it seemed like the tighter I tried to get with it, the more it would squeeze out and just seemed to be evasive and not predictable. I'm a very methodical person by nature. And the funny part of it is that I chose art as a career, as a planner. Typically, I want paintings to feel correct from about 6 or 7 feet back. I love the duality of being able to paint in a way that it becomes a different painting when you're up close and it kind of dissolves and you see the chaos of it. And then that kind of moment of magic when you step back and you're 5, 10 feet back, and it coalesces together and becomes something different, is really, really beautiful. Because the saying goes, you want to make somebody want to walk across the gallery floor to see your painting, and then you want to reward them once they get there, right? After I graduated from my undergrad, I was just painting in an upper room of the farmhouse. I realized the jobs I'm getting weren't the ideas that I wanted to talk about in my work. The farm and the landscape around me, those were what I was most passionate about. I need to learn how to oil paint, and I need to make my peace with this. But I need more training. So I went back to graduate school in San Francisco. There was a professor who taught a landscape painting class. I couldn't take it yet in my progression of curriculum, but in between my class breaks, I would listen at the crack of the walls or look after class, see if there was any handouts that had been left on the table. It was just like knowledge dripping from heaven. Once I was finally able to take the class, I had a very distinct idea that I needed to paint a mural on our barn at home on the farm. The next several years of graduate school became about preparing for that project. This was what I felt God's plan was for me in my life, that He helped me get to a place that I couldn't have been on my own. But as I got older and as the stakes got higher, I was so afraid of making a mistake. Oh, I like that one. Oh, there's a worm. That's part of farming too. Sorry, buddy. One of the things I love about farming is the idea of seeing cause and effect very clearly, right? And a kind of the effect of a day's labor that's very evident because you can see the result of what you did. The trick is to remember where you put the clippers when you get back that also have orange handles. In some ways, art isn't all that different from farming. You put all this effort into it and then you send it out in the world and things are beyond your control. In the farming, you plant and you do all your work and then you pray that the rain's gonna be favorable. In the creation process, I find that the more time goes on, the more I'm trying to let go of some of that control, to allow for some of the organic process to happen. During that time, after graduate school, life was stressful and hard. Just fear swirling around of the unknown of the future. Sometimes we think of mental health as this kind of closet that we open, that we live in this room where we have our happy selves, and then the closet's where my mental health lives and some of my darker shadows. It was coming out of my art. I was doing paintings of people carrying shadows on them. It came to the point where some of these fears and anxieties just seemed to be ever present and looping in my mind. Like I was paralyzed of making choices. It's been refined through therapy to understand that it's actually a mild form of OCD. I've got OCD. With mental things, sometimes there's this feeling like I'm afraid to confront it. Avoidance isn't a lifelong strategy for anxiety. It just makes it worse. I was broken, and I couldn't fix myself. And I remember really feeling like there was a fork in the road. I could live with fear for the rest of my life, or I could embrace imperfection in myself and the unknown. That was a moment when I purposefully moved forward to say, okay, I am who I am, and I'm not going to be afraid of that anymore. This can't be the only way to live. The title is taken from the Doctrine and Covenants when God was saying, "But for a small moment have I forsaken thee." It's not forever. The barnyard is empty. The landscape around it, everything's just pretty bleak. And we feel that way sometimes in our lives. We are this empty vessel sometimes, whether that's emotionally or relationally. We feel like we're alone and lonely, or having a hard time connecting with God in our lives. But ultimately, there is this hope that can bind us to God. I love the technique of splitting those clouds a little bit and showing the light come through, and the obvious spiritual parallel of divinity and of God's light. That hyper-awareness to life and this sensitivity to the world around me. Without that, I wouldn't be the artist I am and the person I am. Those times in my life when I felt afraid and when I felt so scary, when I felt God reaching to me and telling me that it was going to be okay, that if I could just hold on and believe in Him, that it would be enough. Some days are better than others. Some seasons are better than others. I love that idea that we're making mistakes along the way, and that can be in the service of something beautiful. God can make us beautiful, and His light is enough. He can be the thing that fills us.